Many years later, Paul the Apostle would call himself the prisoner of Jesus Christ. What did he mean? Well, he meant that it was for the sake of the Lord Jesus and his gospel that he was in prison. He hadn't done anything to deserve to be put in jail. He wasn't a thief or a murderer. What he had done wrong was to preach the truth of salvation by faith in the Lord Jesus. And likewise here, Joseph had ended up in prison for nothing he had done wrong. He could have felt sorry for himself. He could have become bitter. First, stolen away and sold by his own brothers, and now imprisoned for something he didn't do. But he didn't. And we read, "But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison." And again, "The Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper." If we are truly God's children, the Lord has promised to be with us. He says, "I will never leave thee nor forsake thee." So no matter what we face, even if we are wronged by others, we can trust God is working his purposes out. Here in the prison, Joseph would meet two men who worked in Pharaoh's court. But as both of them had displeased the king of Egypt, they had ended up in prison. One morning, Joseph finds them troubled. They have both had dreams, and they don't know what they mean. The Lord reveals the meaning to Joseph, and he asks the butler to remember him when his dream is fulfilled, when he is restored to Pharaoh's court. But he forgot, and Joseph would spend another 2 years in prison. It is often that God uses difficult situations to train his children for his service. David would spend 13 years fleeing from Saul in the wilderness before he became king. Paul would spend 3 years in the deserts of Arabia, and many years in prison later. And here Joseph would be left in prison. But yet, as we read, God was with him. He was teaching him, training him, testing him, humbling him. If Joseph could serve God faithfully in the prison, if David could trust God in the wilderness of En-Gedi, then God would entrust them with more. What about you? Do you serve God in your home, in your school? Oftentimes children dream that one day they will become great missionaries serving God in some far-off place. But they forget that they must begin to serve God today, where you are. What would God have you to do today?